All right, so one of the things that I want to talk about a little bit is kind of like the concept of what self-defense is. You know, we do a lot of sport training in jiu-jitsu these days. You know, everybody's focused on tournaments and gi and like all of the things that happen. But one of the things that I like to throw out there every once in a while is like what is the difference between like training with a self-defense mindset as opposed to just for fun and training with your buddies and stuff like that. And I believe that the primary thing that you're looking to pursue is, when you're training with a self-defense mindset, is like mitigating distance and negating damage. So, and a lot of it is distance control. Well, it's all distance control, really. So when you're looking at the positions that you play when you're in here training on a regular basis, you're doing it from a perspective where the person's not trying to cause you real physical harm with strikes and elbows and punching and things like that. You're playing like a grappling game, really. So like what changes when you're talking about self-defense is the added danger of that third attack, the striking, right? And so how to negate that and how to deal with it is the primary issue. So when you're training, they call them adapters, really. When you're training, if you're not thinking about the self-defense adapters, you're not training yourself for self-defense, you're training just for sport. And what I mean by that is, like we'll use the guard, because the guard is such a big one when we talk about things like this. So we're gonna come here. I'm in the guard, right, closed guard. If I'm in training with my buddies, you know, just on a regular day, and we're doing our thing, right? He's grabbing me, I'm grabbing him, I'm trying to do this thing, and we're in this mutual range of gripping, right? This is great for sport jiu-jitsu and just hobby training, but this is not what a real fighting scenario is. As a matter of fact, of all the positions we can be in, this is the exact position that we don't want to be in, because he can hit me from here, right? And he has control, and he can do a lot of things, right? So the purpose of the guard, when it comes to real fighting, and of course Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was designed for real fighting, and that's how it started. The purpose of the guard and the whole strength of the guard in the first place is the fact that it gives me the ability to control distance from the bottom. It's the only position that I can control distance from the bottom. It's the only position that the top guy does not dictate the distance, right? And in a fight, the person who dictates the distance dictates the damage that can be caused, right? So in a fight, we have the rule that we want to be too far, too close, the too far, too close rule, right? So we have, right now, Xian isn't too far or too close. He's in that perfect gray area where he can reach me and he can hit me with full power blows. Oh, not good for me. So I either want him to be too far so he can't reach me, right? Or too close to where he can't hit me effectively, right? So this is our first actual defensive guard position. It's the overhook, head control, right? My legs are up and I'm bringing him in tight. So if he tries to hit me with this arm, it's ineffective, right? And if he tries to hit me with that arm, I can bring, sit back, my knee and elbow together like a shield. Hold on, I gotta adjust this. Oh. That's better. A little low. Yeah, I just adjusted it. Okay. I bring my arms together like a shield, right? So I'm here. If he tries to bring that hand together, boom, right? Let's spin me around. It ain't a gi. Right here. So he tries to hit me, bang. Right here like this, right? It's important that when he brings his hand back, I don't reach for it, because I could miss it and then he comes right over, bang, right? So I have the head controlling posture, because if I'm controlling his head, I'm controlling posture, I'm controlling his ability to create distance, right? So I'm here, right? He tries to hit, elbows and knees come together, right? From here, I just can control the tricep, slide him over my shin, and I turn just a little bit. I'm heavy, I can still go to head control, I can hit, I can punch, all kinds of stuff here. We can do submission attacks. I really like the elbow here, bang, it's brutal. Right, one more time. he's gonna, let's say we start off here, right? And he wants to throw the big right hand, because most people are right-handed, so we're gonna deal with the right hand today. He has that big right hand coming in, right? I'm gonna see, he's gonna go back, he's gonna do it again. I'm gonna cover, bring him in, right? This would be an elbow, bringing him in, but we're gonna be careful for doing that, we're partners. So I'm here, right? He comes in for the big hit, I cover, bang, wrap, control the head. He can't hit me with this side, so he's gonna struggle a little bit, he's gonna try to hit me with that side. I come to here, right? I have the shin, I turn, but look, maybe he's gonna try and pull this arm out now. If he does, I'll go to double shin. So I have my hands over the tricep, double shin, right? I'm pulling it nice and tight. My elbows are in tight to my thighs because I don't want him to swim under. Yes, I don't want him to do that, right? So now I'm in tight. If he tries to swim under, it's not gonna happen, right? So here, he can struggle, I can hang out all day, right? He's not gonna do anything. He has two choices. He's either gonna push back in. If he tries to push back in to get me, I can bring him back in. Notice how I guided the head to avoid the headbutt. And just start from scratch again. Right, he tries to hit me, boom, right? He tries to pull the other one out, follow the tricep, boom, right? I'm here. Now if he tries to back away a little bit, boom, I go to the double knee. Because now we're going too far. Now we're going, we were too close, now we're going too far. Boom, he's not gonna hit anything, right? With a jacket like this, it's just like the, I can control the sleeve. These are a little tight, I can control the wrist. It's not a problem. My knees are up and my butt is up. So now, look, if he's pushing in, it's not a problem. I can fold. I fold, right? And then, boom, just bring him back in. Same position, right? He's gonna try and hit me. Boom. And look, he has to try and hit me in the head. Like if he's gonna hit my hip, it's not a big deal, right? He tries to hit me in the head. Boom, right? Not a problem, right? He tries to do it again. Boom. Here, there's my turn, right? He tries to take the other arm out. There we go. Boom. He backs away a little bit. I go to the knees. He can't touch me. Now look, my feet are on the hips. His natural reaction is to try and throw my legs away. Boom. Hook. Right? He can't throw. He squares up. Tries to throw away the other side. Boom. He still can't reach me. Right? How we doing on space?
Let me just leave the center. Stay there. Yeah, okay.
Sorry guys, we don't have a cameraman. So I'm here, boom, right? He tries to throw it to the side. Not gonna work. Squared up, throws it to the side, not gonna work, right? So now what? He's not gonna push back in. He did that already, so now he's gonna stand up. Boom, right? Look, if he stays bent over, hips up, bang. If I still have his wrists, this is brutal, right? If he gives me hips up, right? Bang, right? Axe kick. Heel, right? Boom. He bends over again. Boom. That's it. Game over. Woo, you did some Muay Thai like last week, right? Come on back down. It's getting hot in here now. Any questions?
No, not yet.
That's the basic set. That's the basic defensive guard. That's just controlling position. Or, I mean, excuse me, that's just controlling distance. You add in training for a while, you add in submissions, man, you can add a lot of stuff. So look, he goes to hit me. Boom. Over, right? I'm turning. I'm controlling the head. He tries to hit. Man, block. Come over the top, right? I'm here, right? If he doesn't do much, right, and I feel good with my defense, look, I can grab his jacket right here, right? He's not going to do much of anything. If I don't want to elbow him to death, right, I can shoot my triangle right here, right? Look, I like to hold this arm. And this is one thing that's different. Let me go back. I was here, right? I like to slide down to the wrist. I'll come through and I'll lock this up. I like to hold this instead of going to the head. Because if I go here, he gets up and he starts punching with this arm. Right? It's brutal. I go here and I'll just finish right here. Right? Come here too. There we go. So, real simple, basic, that's the foundational sequence of the defensive guard. And man, it's really great to practice. You know, get every once in a while when you have your friends, when you're open mat. Am I center?
Yep, you're supposed to do it that way.
Every once in a while, you know, once or twice a month, come into open mat one day, grab a friend that you trust, and say, hey man, let's you know, try and touch my face a little bit. Try and touch me in the forehead. You know, in position. Let's mess around. Let's see what changes. You know, and a lot of times just the experimentation of it will turn you on to some new ideas for sure. But yeah, so yeah, what do you guys think, man? Any self-defense questions out there? Let's hear them.
Not yet. I don't think I see any.
Man, a lot of people watching. Kelsey, what up? Bailey. Eric Lopez. Eric, man, are you still in town or did you take off home? BJ, Matt Siders. And Ben. So yeah, let's see. So I did have a question asking me about how does jiu-jitsu, I can't see because we're a little time delayed, but how does, is it,
Yes.
am I frame? About how jiu-jitsu, how have I used jiu-jitsu working in nightclubs? I've worked probably 15 years in bars and clubs, and I've had the privilege to escort people out on several occasions. So one thing I just like to say, because I did have a couple of guys who work in nightclubs recently asked me some questions about this. And one thing I would like to say is I used to train nightclub staff at one point, and 95% of the stuff that we went over, believe it or not, was not physical. It was reading body language and learning how to talk to people. The best guys I know that work in the clubs are really great at talking people down and talking people out. Very rarely does a good guy, that a real pro at the door, have to like wrestle somebody out. But a couple of things here, Quanchio. Are we good like right here?
Yep.
A couple of things that I always, whenever I have to approach someone that's looking like we're gonna have to take them out, is one of the things I first want to do, well actually to take it a step back, one of the things I always advocate when I'm trying to work with a door staff is I always advocate we never enter a confrontation between two people just by yourself. You always want to have at least 2 or 3 other people. You'd rather, if possible, you'd like to have more of you than them. But I always like to have a guy come up and cause the attention and have somebody come up from behind, right? But one of the things I want to do first, before anything, is I like to try and determine if they're right-handed or left-handed, right? Because if they're right-handed or left-handed determines, I try to kind of predict which way something's going to happen, or which strike they're going to throw, or if they're having a weapon, which pocket it's going to be in, before anything gets that far. So the 2 things I always look for left-handedness is look for their watch, see what side the watch is on. A lot of people wear watches when they go out. And also, when you're coming up behind, see what side their wallet's on. It's important to know that because if a person's right-handed, if they're having a knife, it's going to be in their right side most likely. So if I'm dealing with somebody with a partner, I'll come up with my prayer stance where I'm talking with my hands up, because another thing, I never want to come into range of a person with my hands down. Because even here, if Shihan made a move now for me, there's no way I'm coming up to block that or going to be able to get out of the way, right? So my hands, once I'm in range, my hands have to already be up. But you don't want to approach someone like this. You know, this is a very aggressive stance. You want to have a passive, de-escalating stance. So what I like to do is what's called prayer hands, right? And I'm not going to walk up like Buddha, but my hands are up. And I'm from Jersey, so we talk with our hands all the time, so I can do this and get away with it. I can kind of pull this off a little bit. But you know, you want to try and kind of mimic that a little bit. And what this does is it gives me my hands up already before anything happens in a non-threatening manner. And it also allows me to take the inside position, because say I just broke him up, somebody just messed with his girlfriend, he's a little pumped, right? Yeah, look at this man, look at him. Right? And I'm like, he's pulling he's popping, what's it called?
Popping collars.
He's popping collars. Right? So, and I'm like, bro, man, yo, chill, bro. You know, hey, you know what's going on? And what this is doing is giving me the inside position. So if he brings his hands up, I'm inside already, right? And I'm here for my comb and covers already, right? So I'm like, bro, you know, chill. And if I'm alone, I identify if he's lefty or righty. If I can't tell, I just assume he's righty because most people are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach him onto his right side, his power side. So I always go to his power side because if I'm across his power side, if he wants to throw a haymaker, it's most likely going to be his power side, and it's coming from that side. So I'd rather come this way, and if anybody's right-handed and you tried to throw a crazy, sudden punch with your left hand, you know you're not going to hit shit. It's going to be very difficult, right? So what I like to do is, and another advantage that you have in the club, it's usually loud, so I get the advantage of being able to get in close in a non-threatening way because the guy knows I want to talk to him. It's like, hey, buddy, you know, what's going on? You know, I'm talking over the music. We're like this a lot of times. If you're in clubs a lot, you know that you talk like this, so you got to get in close, right? Hey, you know, take it easy, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hand and I'm going to slip it onto his hip right here. And I want to get inside. And so once I'm here, we're good. Nothing bad's going to happen now, right? And I'm like, hey, you know, you guys got to chill out. You got to take it easy, man. You know, like it's, you know, or you have to leave or whatever. Because now, if the guy doesn't like what I'm saying and he tries to square up and get all huffy, I'm already here. And I can slide to here and get my position. And this is my position that I like to take people out. I like to control the back wrist. And I'm basically in the headlock position, side clinch. Right? Right, one more time. I'm like, hey buddy, you know, it's cool, you know, everything's fine. We gotta get you out. I'm sorry, you gotta go. And you're like, no, I ain't going anywhere. And it's like, boom, here I am, right? This arm is over that arm. So no matter what happens with that one, I'm sliding down and I'm controlling the wrist and I'm here. Right? Now I'm taking my position. I'm a tall guy. I've picked up guys and carried them out like this, right? But this is basically the headlock position too. If I need to get behind this guy, it's over. I have double wrist control, and you bend them over, you walk them out. It's pretty cake. That's all in fundamentals curriculum, by the way. So let's see. If that's a bad situation because I'm approaching a guy one-on-one, and it's never optimal. If I have a guy that is going to approach for me and distract him, I'm going to come around, I'm going to come up behind the guy, and if he has to go out, we're going to walk him out with what I call the sleepy rear naked, right? And I call it the sleepy rear naked because I'm not going to put him completely out. I'm just going to put him like half out, so he kind of just fumbles back, right? So when we do this, and of course this is all after it's been clearly determined that the guy has to go, right? So I'm going to come up behind the guy. He's being distracted by my partner who's doing everything I just did. Right? I'm going to come up. Three things. I'm going to hit around the neck, hit the low back, hit the knee, all at the same time. Right? A lot of things what I look for too is like if the guy is ready to go or not. If you see how Shion's got one leg forward, he's a little ready to go. If he was more squared up, I would tell he's one step away from making a bad decision yet. But once he puts a leg back or he steps up, that's when you know they're ready to go. You got to do something. Right? So I'm here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, all at the same time, right? And I lock up the rear naked, right? And I'm going to choke him, but not put him out, just a little bit. But look, it's very key that you see how I have his shoulders over his heels, but his hip is bent forward. If I stay too upright, he just brings his hips back in, and he gets strong base, and he starts fighting me, and now this turns into a bad situation. Right? What I'm going to do is come up, 1, 2, 3, bang, and I drop him down. Not enough. See, he's just hanging on, and now I can walk him, right? Because he's falling back, right? I don't want to put him out because I don't want to deal with just a limp body I have to drag out now, right? I'd rather him walk out on his own. If at any time it starts getting too bad, I can just cinch it and put him out, right? Again, 1, 2, 3, all at the same time, right? Down and down. I put him down so he can't get his hips back under his shoulders. When he does, I'm just walking him back, and I can just walk him around like this forever. Right? Good choices, right?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. So the side clinch for our self-defense system here at Fargo BJJ, our entire self-defense system that we learn in fundamentals is based around the side clinch position. So everything is from here. This whole thing, right? Anytime I'm getting grabbed, gripped, wrestled, attempted abduction, I'm going to the side clinch because that's where I'm working. It's an easy position to counter any kind of strength advantage, and happens naturally a lot of times because It's very similar to a headlock position, so a lot of people put themselves there anyway, and then you can work. A little about the definition of self-defense. For me, I define self-defense as anything. Am I in there?
No, you're good.
I define self-defense as anything that starts from a grip or a clinch. True self-defense starts from the clinch. And I wrote an article about this on the blog that'll go in more detail, but the difference between, what's the definition? Well, look, you go on YouTube and look up street fight, right? And what do you see? Two thugs pulling their shirts off, voluntarily engaging in a conflict, right? That's not a self-defense situation. That would be what I consider mutual combat. That's a sport fighting scenario, because the difference between a mutual combat sports fighting scenario and self-defense, like real self-defense, is the goal. The goal of you're staying in the fight voluntarily to win, or to win the confrontation, or you're trying to escape and evade and get away with as little injury as possible, right? If you're trying to escape with as little injury as possible, that's self-defense. A sport fighting situation where you're actively engaging your opponent and willing to stay in the fight, you're not trying to leave. That is a completely different scenario. That's a completely different strategy and a completely different training methodology. It's a lot more difficult and takes longer to train and get good at it, because there's a lot more strategy and variables to that kind of situation. Just trying to break contact and escape and not take as much damage as possible is a much simpler and easier to train, and can be more effective a lot quicker, right? Or you can be more effective at it with not as much training. So, and here, come on, actually. And what I mean by that is, if Shihan's like, yo, your mama, right? and I'm like, what? Boom, let's go. All right, so now it's like, look, man, I have to have good striking. I have to have good distancing. Maybe my takedowns need to be gone. I had to have good takedown defense. I've got to be, I got to have a whole game plan to win this fight now. That's years of training. That's a whole scenario. I mean, that's MMA. That's a competition. That's tournament. That's kickboxing. That's sport fighting. That's a sport fighting scenario. If I'm chilling out and Shihan grabs my wrist and tries to pull me into the alley because he's a crack addict and he wants money, it's like, bam, right? What's up, bro? What's going on? That's easy. That's a self-defense scenario. But the thing is, the self-defense scenario starts from when I'm being restricted from leaving. Because if it was true self-defense and he says, yo, man, like, I like your girlfriend, right? Say it.
Yo, man, I like your girlfriend.
He's not intimidating. I have to get somebody else in here. That's all right. So like he threatens me in some manner, let's just say hypothetically. Right? And I'm gonna be like, I'm immediately gonna back up and I'm gonna be like, bro, I don't wanna fight, and that's it, man. There's no engagement. And there isn't any engagement because he didn't force an engagement. Like, he didn't restrain me from leaving the scene, right? If he grabs me, like if he did kind of like what I did, if he came up and he's like, hey man, let me have that. He's like, hey man, let me have some money. It's like, bro, now I have to work. I hit my outside 45, bang, right? Throw by, whatever. But look, the point I'm getting at is, like, he has to physically restrain me, right? Grabs me by the collar, maybe throws me down, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell's happening? And it's like, man, like, now I gotta throw the guard, right? It's like bang, bang, right? Now look, here we go. Let's flip it. Yeah, hold on, stay there. All right, very good. So let's look about standing up. Stand up and base. Everybody knows stand up and base. Blah. Right? But why? What is it? What are we doing? Right? It's a great way to get up. But there's a reason, right? So look, he knocks me down, you're up, right? I'm here, right? Look, anytime, remember we talked about distance control. Anytime he can hit me, right? He can reach me, right? I have to keep the distance, right? So again, we're back to the feet, right? We're kicking, we're ass kicking, we're kicking away the groin, the knees. I got to get him away so I can't touch him anymore. Right? So look, once I can't reach him, I can sit up and he can't reach you, right? Now look at which leg is back. Let's go right here. That leg is back. I sit up this side because why? That's the power side. Boom. I don't want to be here and have the soccer kick me. This isn't going to cut it. I also don't like this. I like this, right? So I'm here, right? Now from here, I can't get up yet because if I make my get up move, he can reach me again, right? So what do I have to do? I have to get him away further, right? Now I can make my move, right? But look at my hand, right? I don't like this because if he kicks me now, this isn't doing anything, right? So I go here, bang, or I go here, look. Now if he goes for the kick, like I'm blocked if he tries a soccer kick, which he shouldn't be able to because at that distance I should be able to get up no problem. So we're here, bang, right? Even look, I'm here, he grabs me from behind, he throws me down. I'm like, what's going on? Right, I can turn, I'm here, bang, right, boom, 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 right? Look, which leg is up? There, bang, bang, right? And I'm good to go. Now, he's not restraining me, I can take off. Self-defense. Sport fighting would be, I stay here and re-engage him. That's not self-defense anymore, right? Question?
No, I'm just making sure. There we go. It was a little off, I think.
Now we're good. Hey, yo, your mom, Cody. Isn't Bailey. I probably said something wrong. Groin strikes for the win. You got it. That's the thing, guys. When we train jiu-jitsu, we train without strikes because it's just easier on the brain to learn something when you're not worried about getting the shit slapped out of you all the time, right? You learn position because if I can control position, I can control distance. If I can control the distance, I can control the damage. He who controls the distance controls the damage. You just have to remember that because sometimes in the fun of playing jiu-jitsu, you can forget about the distance control. And a lot of times, especially in guard, with the gi, no gi guard is actually much better in keeping with the principles of self-defense because it's more hugging and more wrapping. I'm not saying that no gi is better for self-defense. I actually think gi is better because it simulates close. You're always gonna have grips and stuff unless you're fighting in the beach in Rio wearing a speed up. So everybody except Bailey, because Bailey, that's his thing. But, right? But, so, either way though, it doesn't really matter because the focus is on maintaining the distance in the grips or maintaining, controlling the distance to mitigate damage. And then after you practice and do that for a while, you can start to be able to anticipate the most common areas that damage is going to come from, right? So we just did the guard, right? You have, half guard, side control, the mount, on the back, you have all the positions, knee on belly, because knee on belly becomes a completely different situation when you're striking. Because knee on belly is a position that was designed for striking specifically. It's kind of like a strange position when people come into jiu-jitsu without a real fighting mindset, because they're like, this knee on belly position, it's really weird. People will approach knee on belly as a more agile way to transition between the mount, side control and the mount, and to be able to ride the mount to the back a little bit, especially for smaller people. Having a very mobile knee on belly is great for smaller people trying to hold down big people because you're not going to be able to pin them like you could if you were big. So you have to be a little bit more mobile and riding around with that knee ride, and that could really open up a lot of positions. But, go down. Just right here.
Right, your knees, the cutting points.
Right, just right here. Head down. If I'm going to jump, like if I'm going to throw Shihan down and I'm going to come up to a knee on belly here, bang, right? I grab this, and this is a completely different kind of situation, right? And then just riding someone with a gi and then just sitting there taking it. He has to react, he has to move, right? And under that circumstance, whatever he decides is probably going to be wrong, and it's just going to be better for me because he's probably going to roll over, right? It's the same thing with the mount, right? I get the mount on someone, Go down. I get mounted on someone, I come up, and I start dropping bombs. His arms go up, I slide up, and man, this is all a road for this guy, right? You know? So like, when you think about what positions that you're putting yourself in, especially when you're defending, we talk about there's proper hand position for all your defenses. There's a proper position to be in every bad position. And it may not be very apparent when you first start out because you don't know the context, right? But believe me, there's a reason, and a lot of it may have something to do with real fighting. It may not be apparent in like a sports setting initially. But yeah, so there's always, everything is always for a reason. And we like, especially in the fundamentals, that white to blue curriculum that we do, everything is fundamentally based and fundamentally sound. So it's gonna have the aspect of real fighting incorporated in it, even if you don't, even if we don't maybe make it clear right away, right? Which we should probably do a better job of doing, but that's on us. So and again too, if there's ever a situation where you're like, why are we doing this kind of position? Definitely ask, you know, because there's probably a really great answer that you should know.
Bailey said, ask, how about your clinch takedowns?
Clinch takedowns is, like I said before, it's all to the side clinch, right? And anything that we're gonna do, and again, it goes to the goal. Like we're talking about a self-defense situation. I'm looking to break contact, not necessarily take the fight down. It kind of depends on the situation because you may not always want to go down, especially if I originally got started on this topic today because a couple of people asked me about working in the clubs specifically, and I don't want to take people down in the club, not because I don't feel like I couldn't control them, but because usually there's multiple things happening simultaneously, and I don't want to get too bogged down with one person on the ground when other things are going on around me. And also, if I put someone down, if he goes unconscious, say I choke someone out and they go down, now I'm responsible for that guy, and I have to drag him out. And one thing that people don't consider too is like, look, are we good?
And we're good now.
One thing I've always made sure that I made was perfectly clear. Like if I have Shihan in like a position and like I have to put him half unconscious, like he could have been fighting other people, and now that I'm holding him or maybe restraining him in some manner, I have to protect him too. Not only do I have to drag him out, but I have to protect him from getting hit by other people because like there may be somebody else coming after him still, right? And like if he's half unconscious, I can't just throw him down and let him just get gorilla stomped on the ground all of a sudden. You know, I have to make sure that he stays safe, and I drag him out until I throw him out on the sidewalk into the fire hydrant, right? But you know, that's one thing too. I can't choke a guy half unconscious and hold him there while people are teeing off on him, right? And so if I'm going to take a guy down, everything's going to be side clinch. Like if I'm from here, I'm from here, right? Everything is still going to be if I'm up tall, I'm going to do my rear sweep, bang. Come up to knee on belly. Tell him to quit fucking around. Or that's always the answer. Low back clinch too. I'm here, right? If he tries to square into me, right, I'm gonna come in and put him down, right? And I'll just take whatever I take, right? And remember, we're talking about a scenario where I have to stay vigilant to what's happening. So if I come down to here, I'm gonna stay right here, and I'm gonna make sure that everything's cool. And I'm gonna tell this guy, like, you know, we're gonna get up and you're gonna fucking leave, and that's gonna be it, or you're going back down again, you know? But I have to make sure that my boys are okay, you know, everything that's happening around me is cool. So, side clinch, always side clinch. Rear sweep, low back clinch, LBC. I like to tell everybody, when you're in the real world doing real shit, it's like your best 15-20% of what you know. That's it. Everything else out the window, right? The basics. What else?
No questions.
No questions. Awesome. What time we got?
About 35 minutes now.
35 minutes in?
Yeah.
All right, guys. If we don't get some more questions here pretty soon, we'll probably just wrap it up shortly. Like I said, I have a good blog article I wrote, I think last year, about like how I define self-defense and like kind of like why we teach the techniques that we teach at the beginning in the fundamentals program, and as for self-defense. And it's all around the basic idea of what I just talked about. Self-defense begins in the clinch. You have to understand the difference between sport fighting and self-defense. There's different strategic goals and reasons, and you train them differently, right? And you can do both for sure. There's no reason you can't do both. But I think it's important to everybody to come in with a self-defense mindset every once in a while. And yeah, just kind of remember to remind yourself why we're all doing this, you know. I remember back when I was training, when I was coming up as a white belt and blue belt especially, wow man, all the way up, you know. White to purple, we did this a lot. Competition got a little bit more to the forefront when I was a purple belt on, but from white to purple, when I came into my school down in Boulder to my instructors to take class, any class could have been gi, no gi. We could have had the boxing gloves on and just been punching. There's been times when I would come in and we would have two guys with boxing gloves in the middle, and they would be trying to freaking knock you out, and you have to take them down while they're punching you, right? While they're trying to punch you. So like, you know, all of those kind of things, you know, that we didn't even get on that. We didn't even talk about like if, you know,
Multiple.
no, just like striking, like the guy's like trying to hit me, and like I'm trying, like I've got to get in here and break this grip. Well, you know, or not break the grip, but get in here. I got to deflect the strikes and get in and get the body lock and all this kind of stuff. So the good news is it's significantly easier to take someone down who's trying to hit you than someone who's trying to wrestle with you. So like if you're bad at takedowns in sport jiu-jitsu, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be able to take people down in a real fight or somebody who's trying to hit you. It's substantially easier when somebody's committing to a strike, because they have to be committing to closing the distance and coming in with a full power stance, and you can close that gap much easier than if a person is being all like trying to run from you or trying to like counter wrestle you. That's a whole nother class. Anything else you want to throw in there?
Nope.
All right, guys, like I'm a fast talker, so we did a lot of stuff there. We've only been like 35, 40 minutes, but we did a lot of stuff there. So, you know, definitely go back and rewatch. Hopefully, I know last week's video was really jittery, cut out a lot. It really bugged me. We tried a little something different on this one. Hopefully, it didn't cut out as much. But yeah, go back, rewatch it, and kind of mess around with those concepts a little bit, and think about distance control. Think about anticipating where damage can come in a real fight. And you'll be surprised after you get accustomed to it. You'll start to be able to recognize there's not a lot. So like there's definitely things that you can anticipate, and you can shut it down before it happens. So distance control, anticipating damage, and just keeping yourself on safe. And you know, you want to be on top for sure. It's a different story when the guy's trying to freaking lay bombs on you. Right?
This is something you can definitely grab someone at home now. And
Yeah, you know, and like it doesn't have to be crazy. Look, go down.
we have to make sure we're like this.
Could you go down? Okay, because. All right, there we go. Perfect.
I can be in the guard, and I can just have one of the, you know, this is a great drill to practice with your kids. If anybody out there has kids, you can just have your kid come on top of you, right? And you can be like, you know, trying to like just play around and like have them try and touch you on the forehead and say, here, like try and grab my nose, you know, and this kind of thing. And you can do this, and you can use the leg control, right? You can put them off, woo, yeah, and they're having a fun time. They think it's fun, right? And you bring them back in, you pull me in close, get the overhook, right? And then they're gonna try and do this, and you do that to them, right? So it's basically just, look, it's like just tap the forehead. We didn't know, when we trained, we didn't always have gloves. We did a lot of slap fighting because we didn't have equipment like we have today, right? So there was a lot of slap fighting, a lot of slapping around. Got a little out of hand sometimes, but it was fun.
You can't do that now with all the coronavirus. You're not supposed to.
Hands to the face, hands to the face. Oh man, I don't know, maybe not then, I guess. No, but if you're already in the house with someone, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Right, it's not like I'm going. All right, so yeah, good drill, you know, just and practicing from all positions, man. Like the bottom of bad positions too, bottom of side control. You know, yeah, that's a terrible position. You're already past, you're in side control, but yeah, you got to stop getting punched in the elbow too, right? That could happen. Same thing with the mount. Mount, you know, does your mount position break down suddenly when the person can start punching, because the defenses and the escapes are the same, nothing changes, but you have to be able to do them when somebody's in the position to start throwing strikes on, right? You know, back, same thing. You know, everything's the same, right? So all the fundamental escapes that we learn in the fundamental program are all designed to be used with striking too. Right? Nothing changes. It's funny because people will sometimes say, oh, you know, jiu-jitsu, everything's different once punches are thrown. It's not true. Actually, it's the exact same. Nothing changes, right? If things have to change, then you're not learning jiu-jitsu correctly, right? That's always been my motto, and I stick with that for sure. Yeah, I think that's it. Now I think I'm done talking.
In closing, I suppose we should thank everyone who's sending us emails and all the support.
Yes. Thanks. I'm still getting emails. I got another email yesterday of someone wanting to continue their membership just to keep us going, you know. And man, super thank you to him. And yeah, you know, like, you know, what can we say? Everybody's following along. You know, I'm sure we're going to go past the 20th. You know, so I'm sure the month of April is going to be gone. I know that. You know, we are going to continue with the podcast. We're going to continue putting stuff out. If they lock us down, I'll put stuff out from the house. You know, me and Professor Sarah and myself, we can do stuff in the house as well. Coach Kelsey's got kids stuff coming out every Thursdays, I think, for now, maybe more. So she's going to be doing a live kids Zoom class again. Last week it was really cool. I think we had like 7 or 10 people or something like that. So hopefully we'll get some more kids on there. And yeah. Well, we'll just keep announcing stuff, and we'll just keep doing stuff. I just did a podcast with Matt and Rob last night. It's going to go out, I think, at the end of the week. I'm almost a little nervous now because we started talking about some crazy stuff. So it's going to be funny. It's going to be fun stuff. So yeah, just keep out there, keep connected, keep everybody together, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm super stoked when this is over. We're going to have a big party when we come back or something, man. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. If you guys have any other questions about anything self-defense related, definitely hit me up with some messages or email, or just can contact in the comments, or hit me up with a private message if you don't want it to be seen. And yeah.
Yeah, please keep the messages coming and like questions coming, so we have more content for these live.
Yeah, you know, we can do we can go on forever and do stuff, but I want it to be things that you want to see. So like definitely, and nothing is too silly or too dumb of a question. So yeah, throw it in there because I'm sure it'll lead to something, you know, else as well. So
all right, that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you next week.